Hey, good morning,
Hey,
everybody.
good morning. Good
How
morning.
you guys doing?
We're
Great.
we're doing great. We were just about to say that Roman has technical difficulties,
Yep.
but the universe spoke and he appeared immediately.
Well, this is
So,
Yes.
what happens if you have cooperative care. You need to care for your dogs, so somebody need to get medication. It took me a little bit longer, but here we are, working just
aha.
fine.
Okay,
So you
okay.
medicate your dog and you got the internet connection.
Yeah. Here we are today. We're talking about cooperative veterinary care. Now, what does that mean to you, Roman?
Cooperative care is simply, it's not just the vet's job to handle my dog. I need to prepare my dog for other people to be able to care for my dog. So it's kind of like cooperating with each other. I prepare my dog, I desensitize my dog, I let my dog feel comfortable of this handling that will come in the future. For example, giving a dog a pill, trimming his nails, grooming the dog, shaving the dog, cleaning his ears, cleaning his teeth, um, prepare for exams. For example, some dogs are very reactive of being touched by strangers. How do we prepare the dog for being comfortable being on a table, being handled by a stranger, right? So that's cooperative veterinary care. Because many times dogs fail at the vet's office. They actually be deemed aggressive and go on a chart because the dog reacted to a veterinarian or bit the veterinarian. So these things shouldn't happen because it's a work that we have to prep before we go to the vet.
Yeah,
How
and
you do
that's
that?
yeah, that's really a true thing because I know myself, I get nervous and I think my energy comes out to the dog about, oh, we're going to the vet. And then when we're going in there, I don't want him to bite because Charlie would normally snap.
Yep,
So
yep.
I have to really calm myself down, bring myself into a real calm state, and then walk into the vet's office so that he doesn't start shaking and getting it. So a lot has to do with our energy, doesn't it?
That too. But we are stressed because we know the dog will not handle it right. So we can
Right.
eliminate that stress by preparing the dog to feel just fine. Like doing happy visits. How simple is that? Going to the vet so the dog doesn't have a meltdown. So it's not really just the vet and me. It's the vet, the dog, and me, right?
Right.
It's this golden triangle that we need to take care of. If the dog doesn't feel comfortable getting in the car, he gets already stressed to the veterinarian. And here's the problem: if we do a blood work on that dog, we will get false information about my dog's condition because the vet says, "Well, there's something going on with your dog," and you're like, "Yeah, well, it was my car ride."
Yeah, could be.
Like
Yeah.
elevated cortisol levels simply because my dog is scared of the dog. He thinks he's going to end up in a shelter or something, right? Well, all we do is just driving to the vet. We want to get him healthy, but we cannot help your dog because the dog doesn't feel healthy getting to the dog,
So are you saying you
to the
need?
vets.
Are you saying that first you need to train the drug to be comfortable in the ride?
Yeah,
Okay. And
to
how you
start
do that?
with,
Yeah. How you make the dog comfortable in the ride? What's required?
it requires time, it requires structure, it requires understanding the dog's triggers. Like if we take the dog out for the car, where does the dog shows fear behaviors, right? When does the dog feel uncomfortable? And then I have multiple ways to help the dog feeling more comfortable. So here's an example. My dog put the leash on. He thinks we're going for a walk. Everything is fine. He's wagging his tail. We go down the whole driveway, make a left turn to the car, and the dog is like, beep, steps on the brakes. That's already a signal. What do we do
Hmm.
here? Depends on the situation and his experience. Some dogs are just afraid of the vehicle to get in the car because they get nauseous. So
Right.
the dog feels nauseous driving the car. It's not the vet's problem. It's not your problem. It's just the dog doesn't handle this movement irrational to his environment. I get
Hmm.
nauseous if I sit in the back seat of the car. I need to drive or I'm sick. So we have proper medication for that. We have proper treatment for that. We have herbal remedies for that. Plus, if that dog has eaten recently, that can even be additional problem. So we don't feed the dog before we go to the car, get to the car to the vet. Now, if the dog is triggered, the first thing I have to do is wait and understand why the dog is afraid of. Once I have that checked off, then I start reconditioning the dog. Make the dog feel better about approaching the car. One option would be coming from the other side of the car, parking the car in the street instead of the driveway, switching cars. So if the dog usually goes with one car, he may be just fine with the other car. He doesn't make that association. Sometimes having the dog in an elevated position, it's much better. If a little dog is very low and everything
Mm,
is moving and it doesn't see a relationship with his environment, it's more complicated.
okay.
Sometimes, there's so many reasons why the dog cannot do that, and everything can be addressed.
Addressing another issue, is there a requirement for a dog to have a harness in the car to be safe?
Well, safety first, of course, and there are harnesses that are dedicated to be dog safety harnesses. So just because they have a name of a safe dog harness doesn't mean they are approved for the
Right.
Department of Transportation to be safe for dogs.
Hmm.
And imagine a little dog of 35 pounds with a speed of 30 miles an hour being hit by another car of 30 miles an hour. This is 75 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour against the seatbelt. That dog weighs a lot of weight, and that harness will not hold the dog, or either the harness will kill the dog because of the way it's constructed.
Hmm.
So always
Yeah.
check that these
Yeah.
harnesses are approved
Yeah.
for seats
we,
for
we did a
dogs.
review of harness like that a few months ago, like last
Hmm.
year. But okay, so the dog need to be secure, having a proper harness. Do the dogs need to be able to stand relatively tall, or the harness keep the dog down?
The lower the better.
Lower is
Okay,
better. Okay.
the lower the better. I would prefer the dog would be in the foot area of my co-driver's seat because that's the safest place ever in the car.
Yeah.
He cannot harm anyone, and even if he gets stuck, the room area around the legs are the safest places in the car.
Hmm.
Um,
So
and
yeah.
and then we have bigger dogs that don't fit down there, so we have to secure them in the back of the car.
Okay.
Okay, I have actually an acknowledgement to make. With when I take Charlie in the car, for one thing, he loves to go for a ride. And what I do is I wait until he settles down because as soon as he gets in, he jumps on the back seat. I don't really have a harness for him.
Hmm.
And that's because once he looks out the window, he looks around and everything else, then all of a sudden he lays down in the back seat and he's quiet for the whole time. Yeah.
That's
So
that's a good thing.
I don't really have a problem with it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So one thing I would always suggest: always secure the dog. I've seen, and I helped finding dogs who were involved in accidents. Most of them were not restrained. Few of
So I
them
should
were
do that.
restrained in a transportation crate or a regular crate that's safe for dogs, that is approved for aviation. That's an important key that actually has holding points to hold it down. I've seen many crates just break apart of the weight of the dog in the crate, and if that's a small dog, actually do more damage to the dog
Hmm.
than without. But
Yeah.
a harness is a safe place to be, a safe place the dog can move around, it doesn't get overheated, and there's secure cages for dogs, for bigger dogs, in the back trunk of the car if you
Hmm.
have an SUV or a minivan.
Right. Another factor, if the dog is not restrained or attached or have an harness in a car,
He can kill you.
it can kill you because this is like a moving, a little mass. Let's say your dog weighs 35 pounds. You're in a collision at 35 mile per hour or 30 mile per hour. That's enough mass there to really literally kill yourself. If the dog come
There is
hit you
enough of
from the
scientific evidence to
yeah.
prove that a little
Hmm.
dog can weigh about a ton of weight in a car
Yeah.
accident with only one car driving.
Yeah. With the
Now,
deceleration, yes.
Okay,
competitive.
so
Yep, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so folks, don't follow my advice on this. I started out telling Gaetan, I'm really not good on the cooperative veterinary care or things like that. So look, I've been doing it wrong, and I'm one of these dog influencers. So
Right.
we can always learn, can't we? So you're absolutely right. You know what I'm going to do now? I've already marked down. I'm going on Amazon, and I'm going to get. I'm going to get.
Always make sure that the harness that you're proving, the particular harness, has been tested, because many people say a test harness, but you're not buying that harness, you buy the other one that's untested.
Right.
Right.
So they test
And
only one harness, but the other ones are not.
And Kathy, I invite you to review the review of harness we did like last year, some time ago.
Yeah, we
And
should
there
add the
was,
link to that.
yes, and there was definitively dangerous harness, and there was very, very few secure harness. And
Really?
oh yeah, the demonstration we showed there was in one case the harness was so cheap, poorly done, that a 20-pound dog tear apart the harness on a 30-mile-per-hour collision, and that become like a flying object in the
Mhm.
car. And we found maybe two or three very good harness and rated, safety rated, and approved for a car for dogs. And that, okay, we'll find a link of that
Mhm.
video we produced about at least a year ago,
Uh,
and we'll take the material out and we republish that.
Mhm.
okay, yeah, I do remember that show. I wasn't on it, but I remember Roman going over how you have to get a harness that is not restricting the dog's movement.
Mhm. And
And
the
yeah,
harness that the belt goes all over the body and clips actually to a metal gear, and the
Hmm.
sewing quality is very important. I've
Yeah,
seen harnesses fail because of the clip, ridiculous. Harnesses failing because of the hook, and harnessing failed that the whole
the
sewing
stitching,
part was
right?
interrupted, and so the
Yeah,
dog just went through it.
yeah.
yeah. Well, Dale wants to know, do you use a harness or a cage? I can tell you right now that he doesn't use a cage.
I do actually. When I'm driving with the RV, all the dogs are in compartments, so I have
Okay.
dedicated compartments while I'm driving. So RV, for example, is a very sensitive thing. It's basically made out of wood on wheels. So if I have a crash with mine is aluminum frame, but if I have a crash, the whole thing is falling apart like a cart house, and my dogs
Hmm.
will be all over the street. And it's very easy, like just a flat tire, you're off the street. Anyway, I do wear harness on my dogs, and I have a metal gear attached to like a metal string attached to the harness to the dog that hooks up on the same system the children's seats hook up on, and that
Okay.
attached to the dog.
Yeah.
But on to a certain weight, dogs up to 75 pounds can be securely transported with um, with harnesses. Now, beyond that, there is no test done because these dogs are so heavy they cannot be contained in one system.
Right. Yep.
Okay. Steve says that he's using roughwear as a transport too.
Yeah, but again, it's a good harness, but really not safe for cars unless they have one that I don't know of that is actually rated for car safety.
Okay. So let's get back to going to the vet now.
Good. Now we
Uh,
arrived at the vet.
Okay.
Finally, we got the dog in the car. The
Yeah.
first thing we have to do is start introducing the dog the environment that we're going to the vet. Right? So in the vet's office, there are all these sick animals. Every dog there has a problem or will get in a problem. So there's a lot of stress involved. There are fear molecules all over the place. There are many different species at the same spot. So for the dog, it's very stressful being next to a cat and the cat next to a bird, right? Um, and some veterinarians are good at that. Most of them are fear-free certified veterinarians. They have already a good setup in the vet clinic. The dog comes in, then straight into the appointment room. They don't wait outside on one clinic room, all these animals and exposed while you're trying to do a signature. You have other dogs barking at your dog. It's
Right.
just a
Yeah.
mess. So all these things have to be addressed before
That's
you get
very
there.
true. Yeah. Very, very true.
So one thing of cooperative care is simply giving a phone call. Hey, my dog has that kind of behavior. Are you guys equipped to handle this kind of dog? Do you guys have a proper size muzzle? If they don't have a muzzle, I need to have a muzzle. And if I don't wear my dog a muzzle and I have to train him to have a muzzle, then I need to teach him how to wear a muzzle. That is preparing the dog for going to the vet visit, right? And then in the vet's office, the first thing we should do is more often go in, just weight check the dog. It's for free. It doesn't cost anything other couple of treats. And the
Mhm.
veterinarian's office has all these treats all over the place. So you go there, make a happy visit, Dog is fun. He says, "Oh, I'm gonna get my treats." Okay, where do you get your treats? On the scale, and you don't move on the scale and not
Yes.
wagging tail, just sitting there calmly. Get a treat. 3, 2, 1. Good. Let's go. 75.5 pounds. He gained a pound, right?
Yeah.
And then the next thing we want to do is getting comfortable with the vet's office. But the
Yeah.
dog has to
I
go
got
in
a
the
pic. I got a picture here. This is what he would look like if he was nervous.
Hold on, hold it there. What do you guys see on that dog? Quick question to the
Fear.
audience,
Fear.
right?
Concern.
You see his mouth closed, his whale eyes, ears
Yeah.
down. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
that vet at the vet's office, she's just happy about the dog. That dog is not. So that dog
Yeah.
needs more help. Need more work on that.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that's what you don't want to see.
No, I don't want to see. I want to see a dog wagging his tail just like he gets a treat meeting another person down the street. I don't like the prong collar on that dog.
It doesn't look
Thank you,
like a
Kathy. Oh, yeah, it does.
is that a prong? I thought that.
That's a prong collar.
Oh,
Right.
is it? Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Sorry.
But this, for example, would be
then.
something that we need. Yeah, that's a good picture. A Pyrenees dog is showing on the veterinarian's stethoscope. Go
Yeah.
for it, buddy.
Isn't that
So-
what they're for?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's chewoscope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chewoscope, yeah.
It
right,
costs
yeah.
$45. That's okay.
Yeah, no big deal. That's signature.
Steve says that I just got back from the vet, the rehab side. My big guy did great, but I do know how to do. But I do know how to do this. Okay.
Right. So the next thing, what we look for, is for the dog to start being comfortable being touched in different places. How does the dog feel about people coming into the room? So some dogs have territorial reactivity, especially if they're stressed. So going to the vet is stressful. You cannot minimize it to zero, but there's always something. So we have a big guardian dog who is very protective, and we are stressed and worry about the vet bill, about the payments, and about what my dog has, and we're stressed, and the dog is protecting us. So sometimes it's better if we're not going in there with the dog, have somebody else go in there with the dog that the dog feels comfortable with.
Mhm.
It doesn't pay the bill.
Yeah. Right.
So this way we eliminate a lot of things. So some people, what they do, some veterinarian's office you deliver the dog, and a vet tech will take the dog back to the stage, will do the exam and bring your dog back, telling you kind of like after the car service, your car is fixed, go home with it, right? But I think that is a missing point, because a veterinarian needs to talk to you, need to exchange information. There's a history behind that. The veterinarian only see a screenshot of your dog problem. You deal with it every day. And that means that your dog should be comfortable going with you to the vet's office. So again, happy vet visits.
Mhm.
Just going there, get established with the dog. And some veterinarians who are fear-free certified or stress-free certified, they actually take time with the dog. They hang out, they talk about stuff. The dog has time to sniff the person. It's not just get it done. And it can get very expensive if you want to make it quick. Because picture this, that dog bites somebody. Your
Yeah.
dog has a problem. So that's a lot of money lost, and it's a life lost. So it's totally worth the time for the veterinarian to take the time with your dog and walk him through the process. What is going to happen? And there is a part of consent. Imagine the veterinarian need to stick a temperature thermometer in his dog's butt.
Yeah.
How would you like it if somebody sticks up in the right? And you're like, what are you doing? Like, you don't
If
bite
we
people.
weren't on camera, I would say something, but I'm not going to.
Roman, just for clarification, based on what you just said, I kind of understand that you're saying the owner of the dog should be with the dog when they visit the veterinarian. Is that what you try to?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
But that means that some breeds, they are very protective and guarding the owner.
Yep.
And if the owner is stressed, the dog gets stressed. If the dog gets stressed, he becomes more protective, and more risks are being in place.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And the muzzle is not the solution; it's just a tool.
Right.
You know, just put the muzzle in dog's face, and he has to get okay with it, because that causes more problems.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now we have to see. I'm gonna get here my little friend Blackie.
Oh, Blackie. I love Blackie.
Blackie is
Yeah.
kind of
Hi,
a cool dog.
Blackie.
Hi, Blackie.
Hi.
Look at
Hello.
how calm he is.
Right there,
Yeah.
he is totally service free.
Yes.
So see,
Yeah.
for example, the vet has to lift his ears and look inside, right? Like
Yeah.
picture that. He is next to his face with the dog, have to look inside. All the dog has to do, turn and bite him,
Yeah.
right? At some point, the veterinarian needs to lift his dog lips and look inside his mouth. So he needs to grab his muzzle and open the muzzle up because the dog doesn't open his muzzle on his own,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Uh,
that is a problem. So what we teach the dog is to rest his head on your hand. So for example, the dog is fine. He says, rest your head. And he comes in and leaks in here so the veterinarian can do all these things to do,
oh, very, very,
right?
very good.
Simple things. So the other part that we have to look for is dogs who are injured. They're in pain. They're in discomfort. They don't feel well. They will react because they are in pain. So sometimes you have to restrict the dog to not move or don't do anything because he has a broken leg. So the veterinarian has to start doing movements and see how it works, right?
Mm-hmm.
He needs to see the dog reacting so he see if that's a problem or not. So what if the dog turns and bites him because he's in pain?
Yep.
So there are restricting ways to do it. There are abusive way to do it, and there are good ways to do it. So we need to know exactly how to do that. So there's a book, and I highly recommend to get that book. It's called Cooperative Veterinary Care, and is written by Deborah Jones. There are different books out there, but this is one that I like in particular. It's the 7 Steps to Stress-Free Husbandry. And then she has other books that are also very good. Hold on a second.
Are you sharing the link?
I sent you guys the link.
Okay.
And so I think this is a great book to look for. And then, you guys can look up online. I can share a couple of links.
Okay.
Okay.
Cooperative Veterinary Care, Alicia Howell. I don't share the screen, but let me copy that for you.
Right.
So
Share.
you can,
Yeah. Share it to us, and
Just
then
put it right
we'll
in the comments.
yes,
Just
I'll
put it
do
right in the
that.
comments.
or private chat.
Yeah,
Either
that's
way.
better to do. I need to find the copy link. Jesus, it's difficult to copy things here. Okay, I think I got it. Copy link. Sorry. I'll share the link.
That's fine.
I
Okay.
cannot find the link to share here. So it's a blue book. It's called Cooperative Veterinary Care. It's written by Alicia Howell
Here
and
we are.
Monique. Did you find it?
Yep.
Perfect. Yep.
No,
There's
it's
another
shared.
one. There's another one too. And that one actually breaks it down with all the individual pieces. I'm not going to share you what I have. I have on my phone.
Okay. Yeah, I see it.
Okay. Sorry for
Okay.
the flashlight.
Right.
And that's a great book. It has 225 pages, 255 pages, all details. It tells you exactly what to do, how to do it, with detailed instructions, level 1 training, cat exam, dog exam. Everything is in there. So that's one-stop shop.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, if you guys have a problem with your dog, sometimes we cannot go to the vet. Then we have alternative things, and we can get the vet to the house. But same thing applies, because still the vet has to look in his eyes, in his ears, in his tail, in his butt, and do a stethoscope exam, which means he has to put something on the dog's belly to kind of check his heart rate.
Mm-hmm.
So all these things have to be prepared.
Right.
Yep, that's it. That's the perfect book.
Okay. Okay, we got it. I'll put the link in. Okay.
How you prepare a dog to be touched by a stranger?
Well,
do we need to first be able to accept that you touch the dog?
Right. First of all, we have to understand the concept of consent. For example, if I bring here again my little dear friend Blackie here, and I want to give him a treat, let's open the treat box because he only likes healthy treats, and I give him the treat, and all of a sudden the dog is like, no, I don't want it. Just a simple gesture like that, nope, I don't want it, is a no.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the way I approach it doesn't like it, but how about if I offer it? Oh, then he gets curious.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the difference between avoidance and curiosity.
Okay.
And then, for example, I can start very simple doing several petting and then give the dog a treat. So he recognized that petting leads to a treat. Touching the ear leads to a treat. Lifting the ear and holding it up leads to a treat. I'm just simplifying things a
Right, right.
little
I
bit more
understand.
detailed. And then we have different options. For example, we can use the dog clicker training, right? So, for example, I can click and reward the dog, click and reward the dog, click and reward the dog. So he associates the clicker with a treat. Here, a great book for you guys to check in on that,
Okay, the clicker training for dogs. Let me find
right?
that and I'll put the link in.
And then what we do is we start conditioning the dog that one click equals one reward. And then I ask my dog to lean on my head. I click it, and he gets a treat for it, right? And do it again. Click it, and he gets another treat for it. Simple things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're not going down the road to explain to you how to trim your dog's nails, but unfortunately, many times dogs get very worried about the veterinarians because of that nail clipping.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how much would you pay for nail clipping? How many people are needed to dog nail clipping? 2 people, one to occupy the dog and one to clip the nails.
Mm-hmm.
Something you can do at home. But some dogs are so sensitive because of certain previous experiences, you cannot just, even holding that is a problem. Okay, that's a nail clipper.
Mm-hmm.
So if my dog sees that, he's like, oh, what do we got? Oh, we got treats, right? And clip. Not really. But he's better with that in the past, now than he was in the past. In the past, I couldn't even touch his legs. He would just regular bite me, right, when I got him from rescue. But you can work things up.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you cannot do that with a clipper, then you have a Dremel that you can work on where you can grind the nails. So what we need is the dog to remain calm. So one big exercise that we can do at home is teaching the dog to settle. Now, settle is not just a body language, a dog laying on the floor or flat on the floor, playing dead kind of thing, but it's an emotional state. I trust you to handle me. And these are things that we have to slowly teaching the dog. If we say settle, what does it mean? Go to your bed because you're punished? No, settle means just relax, hang out. Life is good, okay? RV life. And
Mm-hmm.
hang out and click and reward for being calm and relaxed without having the legs being tense and the ears being back and the tail between the legs. Picture belly up for belly rubbing kind of
Yeah, right.
situation.
Yeah.
Calmer than that. Okay? Because we need to be very low on the trigger point. So if a dog does react, he's not getting up and runs off.
Right.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Absolutely.
here's the book.
Perfect.
Okay, I put a link in the comments, folks.
That book also will explain different other things. How do we help the dog tolerate the leash? How do we help the dog tolerate certain gestures? That doesn't give you the information about the care. It gives you information how to get there.
Right.
However, one thing is very important. We need to see the emotional aspect of it. The dog trusts you to go to the vet. It's not something you can condition with a clicker. Okay, something you have to work up to. So an emotion you will not be able to access, but you can change the dog the way he thinks about things.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
that's the whole main point. If you see behavior, that's not what our focus is. The thought before the emotion is triggered, before the behavior is shown. That's what our goal is. So we want the dog to think positively going to the vet, not just behaving good.
Okay. Okay. So now a question I have with when I'm leaving the vet's office, there's many times where there's another dog that gets aggressive towards Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
There are some vets that have you go through the back door.
That's the regular way to do.
I
We have
think I think
indoor
that
and
I think
outdoors.
that's okay. I think that's a better way to do it in the
Yeah,
long
yeah.
run. Yeah. And I also wanted to mention that you had said to make visits to the vet and get your dog to know. I do that. I did that with my groomer because I changed groomers a number of times. I would bring him over there, get to let him get to know everybody, feel friendly, his happy environment, and then we leave. So
Right.
he doesn't associate that he's going to get a haircut. So now he has a very good time. He likes going to get his hair cut.
Right, because he has fun there.
Yeah,
And
right.
it really depends. It really depends on each individual vet, how things are done. So what I will do is I'm gonna share with you a little video
Okay.
of a dog that's highly reactive, um, and I'm copy the link here for you guys, and you're gonna see how much work we did to get the dog there. So link is in the chat, private chat.
Oh, okay.
So it will be a little bit loud because we introduced the dog, the hair blower. Okay. So you see the hand resting there?
Mm-hmm.
You see, I'm not forcing the dog. So that grooming visit was 2 hours to get him to do that.
Wow.
Okay. Now, how much would you pay for it? I paid all the money I wanted just to have that experience for him to accept that he actually hates. It's kind of like showing a dog a vacuum cleaner. He should love it.
Right. Yeah. Oh
Mm-hmm.
gosh. Yeah. How do you do that?
Well, literally, we had 45 minutes just working on that task, introducing him the vacuum cleaner, making comfortable hearing the vacuum cleaner, having the vacuum cleaner next to you, being close to the vacuum cleaner, being blown. It's not the vacuum cleaner, it's an air blower. Being blown by the air blower, and this has a static regulation speed, so we can slow it and wind it up a little bit. And finally, we're able to blow him dry. And you see, there's no restriction there. Everything is kind of like soft and handling and not forcing the dog on a choke chain or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to stop it?
Yeah, we can stop. It takes like 3 minutes more. Same
Okay.
thing basically.
Okay. Well, that's really interesting. Now, you can really do that kind of thing. I was going to ask you about the vacuum. Some dogs go crazy over the microwave sound. Oh, yeah, okay, clicker training. There you go.
What you do, what I do with my dogs. And my dogs actually follow me around with the vacuum cleaner because they know I'm a treat machine. I'm a treat machine in town, you know. So what I do is I first of all bring out the vacuum cleaner, and everybody's like, "Ah, the vacuum cleaner!" I mean,
Yeah.
literally, it looks like a monster with a tail. Okay, and looks like some of them have lights on it and wheels on it, like creepy, right? We see a vacuum cleaner, the dog sees a monster. So what I do, I start creating a treat trail that leads to that vacuum cleaner. And every time the dog grabs a treat, he gets rewarded. And also, if he starts getting curious about the vacuum cleaner, like, oh, what's over there? I click it, I reward that too.
Okay.
Now, many people tend to correct the dog for having a reaction. They say, no, leave it, drop it, choke, chain, shaker cans, air horns, whatever. No need. Let the
Okay.
dog explore it. And once the dog starts making contact with the vacuum cleaner, then I would have a jackpot on top of the vacuum cleaner. Have the dog eat treats on the vacuum cleaner.
Really?
Right. And guess what? Next time I bring up the vacuum cleaner comes out from your dog's mind.
Ooh,
What
treat.
kind of treats are on the vacuum cleaner? Right? That's
Good
step number one.
idea. Good
The next thing we're
idea.
going to do is start introducing him the sound. Right? So we want the vacuum cleaner to be far away. Okay? And push the vacuum cleaner far away and just use the outlet. Zzz, You can work with the outlet of the vacuum cleaner and have the vacuum cleaner far away in the hallway while you deliver the treat next to your dog. And the next thing you can do is you can pull the vacuum cleaner on the road. Don't pull on the cable, just saying. Pull it closer and still play with the vacuum cleaner on and off and still deliver the treats. So the dog says, damn, the more vacuum cleaners I have, the more treats I get. I start loving it. Watch this. I start loving it because I can predict what's going to happen. I think differently about the vacuum cleaner, so my emotion change. And then we start vacuuming and dropping dog treats behind ourselves. And the dog is like, where are you vacuuming to? Let me follow you. Right? First without the sound, then with sound.
Let me ask you the question. What is the reason why dogs go so crazy over vacuum? I realize it's the sound, but it could be a regular push one that doesn't have the vacuum sound to it, and they just don't seem to. It's almost like another postman. They don't like the postman for some reason.
The perception of dogs of things is different than we do. Imagine you're sitting on your table and suddenly your phone starts walking away. How would you feel about that? Think of that you don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And suddenly your phone is walking, like, holy bark, what was that?
Yeah.
Right? You get scared. And suddenly that phone starts buzzing. They're gonna explode or something. You don't know.
Yeah.
Your worst case scenario comes up. Now, see the vacuum cleaner as something that doesn't have any legs and moves around by you. Okay? And then see from a dog's perspective that looks like a salamander or like a snake. It also had this high-pitched sound of the turbine that we don't hear, but it's kind of like having a tornado coming through your house. Are you sitting watching TV when a tornado comes to your house? Because I run. So do dogs.
Yeah.
So,
and they're protecting us then, right?
Of course, this thing's going to get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, going to kill it.
I would like to come back to the visit to the vet and address the question of injection.
Ouch.
Ouch.
That hurts.
Yes. And
Simple
how you
task.
handle that.
Very simple. Again, we have our little friend, Blackie. Blackie's butt.
Yes.
So what we're looking for is that tail to go like this,
Yeah.
not like that. Okay? Dog is coming here. Hi, buddy. Okay? Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my finger and poke him, usually at the shoulder or at all the places. And depending on the vaccinations that your dog gets or the injection he gets, and then start introducing him how it feels like to be touched. So we have again the clicker. We have again the treats. Super yummy, high value treats. Anyway, and then what you do is you pet your dog and then you touch him over here in a spot and then he gets a treat in his mouth. And the next thing you're going to do is work your way up with that pressure point all at the same time. And then you work your way up to a pencil. Not sharp, just numb, right? A pencil, tap him like that because you can smell the pencil. It smells like chicken flavor. Awesome. Little poke and a treat. Poke equals treat. The more you get poked, the more treats you get. And then we need to introducing him the syringe. So what you do basically is start showing him the syringe. This is what gets you a treat. See that? And a treat. And now we're going to fill up the syringe. Oh, right. That gets you another treat. See what I do? Everything that I do gets you something that you like.
Yeah.
Right? Everything that you do gets you $1 million. What do you want me to do? I'll do it, sort of.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you show him the dog what's going to happen with that he gets a treat for. Give him an idea. So that goes on your back, just like the pencil. Remember the pencil that has the chicken flavor? That happens too. And you get another treat for that. And later on, what's going to happen, it's going to feel a little bit of a poke. So what I do is I poke the dog a little bit and hold it without the needle on it. Okay? And so the dog gets used to the pressure at that point. He gets desensitized on that feeling of pressure on that particular point. And dogs are very sensitive. They can feel a fly sitting on their coat It's like a fly sitting on your jacket, kind of, sort of.
Right. Yeah.
Have you ever felt somebody sitting on your head and a fly or a leaf and says, you have something on your head? And you're like, what? You don't even know it. The dog knows it. He can feel the weight of the fly on his coat. So there are so many
Wow.
sensors on it. So that
Yeah.
needle is basically an atomic bomb on his back. So
Mhm.
that's why we have to be very careful how we do that. So you don't have to do it in one shot. You can do it multiple days. But once you have that settling, then they actually poke. It's not so sensitive to the dog anymore because the dog is already used what's going to happen. Oh, that little poke gets me another treat. Okay, wasn't so bad. It doesn't kill me. It's fine with me. And this is how you also work with dogs who have also blood sugar problems because they have to be on insulin, and you have to do it twice a day. How do you do there? Skip it?
Yeah,
You can't.
right.
You have to.
Mhm.
And then of dogs, peeling the dog, giving the dogs a peel, because you cannot just giving your dogs the pocket peels when the dog is sick because he's gonna take it because he knows what's gonna taste like. So I give my dogs sort of pocket peels. I use these meatballs for that. And in the meatballs, I usually put a treat or a dog treat in there that's harder than the meat he's chewing on. So, because dogs have very sensitive teeth, he can feel chewing it that something harder is in it, and he spit it out.
Spits it out. Right. Yeah.
Right.
I was
So
just
what
going
I
to
do,
say that they're clever. They know how to eat around the pill
Yeah,
and then
but-
drop the pill.
here's the thing: what you can do, you can make it a game. Take a sausage, and in the sausage, you take a knife and make an X right in there, and
I
then
do
stick a
that.
dog treat in it. A dog treat. Okay. So the first is blank. Ready? 1, 2, 3, up, down the belly. The second one, 1, 2, 3, up, down the belly, and the third one right after. What he does, the first one he chewed on it because he wants to test you what it is. The third one he swallows because the second one he swallows because the third one is right behind it. So he swallows to get the third one.
Yeah.
All you need to do is to get the dog excited about the treat. So giving that dog treat game is awesome. My Chihuahua, I'm not saying any names, she's so smart. She knows when I'm going to the kitchen and if I open the cabinet. And she's like, oh, it's cabinet time. And she
Yeah.
knows she gets the supplements. And she's like, I don't want it. But I know that she does it. And on my way out of the kitchen, I accidentally drop a treat and I didn't see it. And she's like, oh, there's something on the floor. I'm like, don't touch this. And she's like, oh, why not? Oh, because it's mine. And she's like, oh, I want that. Good. How about you take that instead?
Yeah.
And she swallows it, the peel. So sometimes you have to be smarter. So that all these things come to the equation when you go to the vet too. Because it's not about the dog being to the vet, it's the dog feeling comfortable to the vet, and the vet should feel comfortable with your dog.
Okay.
That's
Very,
pretty,
very good.
Excellent.
Yeah. Very
Thank
good
you.
show.
So if you guys struggling with your dogs and you need some help, you know where to go.
Yeah.
Okay. And hey, everyone, again, our show is being sponsored by ION Gut Support for Pets. We put a link in the comments for you to get one of these. If you haven't, I think it would be very good for you to go to the website and read about what ION Gut Support for Pets can do. It's phenomenal. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because we're going to have a special show just on this product alone.
I'm just saying a little word. Guts equals glory.
There you go. Yeah, right. Okay. Did you say? Oh, okay. That's Kinga. Okay. Hi, Kinga. Okay, everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Thank you, everybody. Share the
Okay.
news.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.